It has come to my attention that some of you people don't know how to do basic fucking maths.
What do you mean, you people?
But don't worry.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
I'm here to help you. So who am I?
I'm just in with a rocket launcher.
Think of me like your cool uncle, except I'm not cool and I'm not fucking your uncle. So today we're going to be learning how to do Simultaneous Equations. Why? Well, there's a very important reason why, and that is because when a mummy and a daddy love each other very much, sometimes they make a baby, and that baby is you. So, what you've got to do is pass some exams, and on your exams there might be simultaneous equations. It's very simple, so let's get through this right now. So the reason why they're called that is because you've always got two of them. But before we get to that bit there, we're just going to go through some very basic things, because that's why you're here anyway, isn't it? So let's say we've got the equation x plus y equals 4. Well, you may think this seems a bit... What does it mean? What can you do with it? Because it's an equation, you can do whatever the fuck you want to it. There's two ways of looking at it. Either rearrange, or doing whatever the fuck you want. So rearranging is simple like this. You can think, I'm going to move the y from one side to the other side. And if you do that, you've then got x equals 4 minus y. Because you're minusing y from both sides. Very simple. So what the fuck you want? Minus y, or rearranging. Moving y from one side to the other side. So let's say we've got 2x plus y equals 5. And we want to get x by itself. Again, think of it two ways. Rearranging or doing whatever the fuck you want. So, to get x by itself, we can do a couple of things. First of all, we could do the same thing again. We could minus the y from both sides. So y is now over there. And then we have 2x equals 5 minus y, because we've moved the y from one side to the other side. And we still need to get the x by itself. So how do we get x by itself? Well, that's very simple. We're going to divide the whole thing by 2, because 2 divided by 2 is 1, and we want 1x. So we divide by 2 on both sides, slash rearrange the x to be over there. I mean the 2 to be over there. Then we have x equals 5 minus y over 2. You can do this bit in either order, because 5 over 2 is the same as y minus 2, because you group together. It's all very, very simple stuff. Rearranging or doing whatever the fuck you want. Please note that if you decide to minus 2x from both sides, you don't get rid of the 2x. You've still got 2x, okay? Simply put, if you decide to minus 2x, it would then be y equals 5 minus 2x, and not x plus y equals 5 minus 2. Because 2x is now over there, you haven't just got rid of the 2. You can't just get rid of the 2, because that 2 is always going to deal with the x. I hope this makes some sense. So let's move on to the simultaneous part, which means you've got two of them. So let's start with x. 8x minus 2y equals 12 as our first equation, and our second equation is xy plus y over 3 plus 1 equals 7. that may seem really complicated. So let's focus on this one first, okay? Because it's a little bit simpler, isn't it, buddy? Okay. So there's two ways of doing it. We need to either get x alone or y alone. So then we can substitute that into the other equation. So we've only got one of one letter. And then once we've got one of one letter, we can do the same thing, but with the other equation, and it'll all be solved. Because we then have one of the numbers, won't we? Very, very simple, isn't it, buddy? You can do it. I know you can. So let's start with looking at this equation. We're going to need to do three things, no matter which way round we do it. Well, actually two things for one way, but three things for another way. I'm going to start off by making y by itself, because that looks easier. Okay? And also that's the way. So how are we going to do that? Well, this y is currently a negative, so it could help if it was a positive. So one thing we could do is move the y over this side, rearranging it, or doing whatever the fuck you want, plusing 2y to both sides. Let me explain what I mean by doing whatever the fuck you want a little bit more, okay? You could add 100 to both sides, or 1,000. Why would you do that? It wouldn't really help you. You just then have 8x minus 2y plus 1,000 equals 1,012. Not very helpful, but one thing that is helpful is plussing y to both sides. I mean 2y to both sides. Plussing 1y to both sides, we'd still have 1y over there in the negative. So adding 2y to both sides, we then have 8x equals 12 plus 2y. We still haven't got either number by itself, but at least they're both positive now. So, like I said, we're going to make y by itself. So we have y equals something, something, something. So we need to do two more things, okay? We need to somehow either divide by 2 or minus 12. Doesn't matter which order we do it in, we get the same fucking answer, okay? Why we're going to do either of those things? Because if we minus 12, the 12 is no longer on the same side as the 2y, okay? So minus 12 equals 8x minus 12 equals 2y. Like I said, we now need to get rid of the 2y. We only want 1y. So 2 divided by 2 equals 1. Therefore, if we divide everything by 2, we'll have 1y and some other numbers on the other side as well. Very, very simple. 4x minus 6 equals y. Oh look, we've now got y by itself. But what if we can do it the other way around? Because we're going to do it both way rounds, just so extra practice for you people that need help. Okay? The other way around is very simple. We only need to do one more thing. And that is, we need to get x by itself, and we currently have 8 of it. So 8 divided by 8 equals 1. So we're going to divide the whole thing by 8. So if 8 equals 3 over 2 plus y over 4. So that are two solutions to getting the bits by itself. Like I said, y by itself looks prettier, so we're going to stick with that one for now, okay? So next thing is going to be very, very simple. Again, we're going to substitute y for 4x minus 6. Okay? Very, very simple. And then we get this. And now, we might as well just group a few of the terms together to make it a little bit easier. And how are we going to do that? Well, let's just, first off, we can do it sort of in any order, but we're going to start off by expanding out this bracket. Now, do you know how to do that? I hope you do. It's very, very simple. This is outside the bracket, so it's times by that, and also by that. So we then have 4 x squared minus 6x. Oh look, it's done because we've timed everything by the x. Plus 4x minus 6 over 3 plus 1 equals 7x. Now that's not a very nice 3 to have over there, is it? So, if we're going to do whatever the fuck we want, one thing that would be very helpful is to times everything by 3. So we no longer have 4x over 3 minus 2. So that would go to 12x squared minus 18x plus 4x minus 6 plus 3 equals 21x. Now it looks like we've got something very, very long and big and scary, but it's going to be very simple very soon. All we've got to do is just simplify it a little bit. We can group those two terms together, three terms, and we can also group those together. And then we get something very, very easy, a quadratic equation. So we can't group anything with the x squared because there's no other x squareds there. So we've got 12x squared minus 18x plus 4x minus 21x equals, because we're going to minus 21 from both sides, minus 35x minus 3 equals 0. Oh look, and now we have a lovely quadratic equation. Now all we've got to do is solve that. Very, very simple maths, guys. So, we all know how to do that, don't we? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So, 12x squared minus 35x minus 3 equals 0. We know that is going to be two numbers times together, okay? Because we're going to get something like that. And it's going to be those two numbers times together. We've got a number there and a number there. Okay? So, two numbers that times together getting the minus 3 is either plus minus 1 plus minus 3. And we know that one of them is negative and the other one is positive. We don't know which one's which though. Okay? And this bit here is two numbers added together, which are also those two numbers times by factors of those two numbers to get minus 35. So, what are the factors of positive 12? We've got 1, 12, and we've got 3, and we've got 4. So, one of those numbers times by the other one, plus, minus, eventually gets to 35. Okay, let's do a little bit try and error, just because we don't know how to do anything, do we? Okay, so 1 times by 1, and 12 times by 3, 1 times by 3, and 12 times by 1. And then we've got 3, 4, 3, 4, 1, 3, 3, 1. Is there a way we can somehow get to minus 35, adding or minusing one of those numbers together? Let's start from the bottom and work our way to the top, okay? So we can now get plus or minus 9 plus or minus 4. I don't think that's going to get us to minus 35, is it, buddy? No. Because even if we have minus 9, we're going to add plus 4 to it. Not going to help us very much, is it? And what does this one get us to? Oh, we can get to minus 12, can't we? From those two. But then we've got a plus 3 to it. So that's not going to help us very much at all, is it? Again, we get the minus 12. But then we've got a plus 3. What about this one? So we can get to minus 36 with those two. And then all we've got to do is plus 1. Very simple, isn't it? So we know that the 3 and the 12 are going to go in opposite brackets because they're times together. So we're now going to go back to this bit. it's going to be 12x plus 1, x minus 3 equals 0. And now we've got to solve x still, but what you may not know about quadratic equations is we're basically just solving a big graph. And what do graphs look like? This graph looks like that. It crosses 0 twice, as this x actually has two solutions. And we don't know which one's which, do we? When the graph crosses the line at 0, what's x going to be, buddy? Well, we need to know that two numbers times together is going to be 0. And what times to what equals 0? 0 times by anything equals 0. So x minus 3 equals 0, and 12x plus 1 equals 0. Now we've got to do a simple bit of rearranging. Very, very easy. So let's move the minus 3 away from the x to get x equals 3. Oh, it's very simple. We've done it already. This one's a little bit harder though, isn't it? So we're going to minus 1 from both sides to get 12x equals minus 1. But now we've still got 12x. So to get x by itself, 12 divided by 12 equals 1. And therefore we don't have 1x. So we're going to divide the whole thing by 12 to get x equals minus 1 over 12. We now have our two solutions for x. So let's go back to our original equation. Oh, one of them anyway. So our original equations were minus 2y equals 12 and xy plus y over 3 plus 1 equals 7x. And we know that x equals 3 and x equals minus 1 over 12. We still want to find out what y is though, don't we? So we're going to substitute x into the equation and we're going to do the same thing all over again. But because we're lazy and we do maths, we wanted to make it as easy as possible. So let's go back to the equation number 1. But let's simply rearrange it to what we had earlier, because we know it's still true, because we're just doing what the fuck we want. We're not making things up, are we? It's still the same equation. 4x minus 6 equals y. Okay? And now we can just substitute x for 3, then minus 1 over 12 to get 12 minus 6 equals y, and minus 1 over 3 minus 6 equals y, because 4 divided by 12 is a third, and we've got minus 4 over a third, haven't we? Very simple, buddy, okay? So that goes to 6 equals y, and okay guys, now we're going to get rather serious. We're going to get a little bit into conspiracy territory, but it might help you pass your exams, and that's all that matters, okay? So what they don't want you to know is x equals minus b plus minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Now what the hell does this mean? This means that if you don't know how to do this, there's a cheat code. The cheat code is ax squared minus bx, well, plus bx plus c equals 0. And then all you've got to do is use a calculator, and voila, you have it, the whole thing sussed down, okay? So what would that be over here? It would be minus 35 plus minus root minus 35 squared minus 4 times 12 times minus 3. over 2 times 12 equals x. We still get two solutions because we type it in twice, one time plus and the other time minus. That's why it says plus minus there, okay? So that's what I don't want you to know, okay? Cheat code for life. And this life being your exams. Nothing else. You won't ever need this except for your exams. I hope this video has helped you with simultaneous equations and also quadratic equations. So, just a quick recap. What you're going to do, get one of the letters by themselves, and how you're going to do it, rearrange. And how do you rearrange? Make it as simple as possible. So if you've got 2 on one side, you move it to the other side. If someone times by 2, you divide by 2. And once you've got one letter by themselves, you can substitute it into the other equation. Bish bash bosh, whole thing solved.